Hello, everyone. I am Monica Affleck with Alair Homes, and today we have Mark Madsen with us from Shop Yeg, the founder of Shop Yeg. So, Mark, welcome.
Thank you.
You, for anyone that maybe doesn't already know, can you maybe just give a quick overview of what Shop Yeg is?
Sure. So it's simply like the simplest thing you can think of is really like an online business directory for sort of small Edmonton business. Um, when we ended up having to self-isolate a little bit sooner than everybody else, and when we did, we started thinking about, okay, well, how do we support local business? How do we get product delivered to the home? Right, things that we use every day, but in a way that we're like helping out these small businesses in the community. And there's not really a good way to kind of Google search for like, what are local Edmonton businesses that need my support, right? It's very difficult to kind of just find that on the web if you type that into a search page. So we wanted to do something where it was more of a directory style thing, where we could list out all of the different businesses that are able to offer kind of like online sales and delivery to people who are interested in buying stuff, supporting local business, buying it online.
So that was kind of maybe the criteria to start with. Hey, people that are an online platform set up and could offer that delivery. That was kind of the initial criteria.
Yeah, I think that we'd like to see that expand. I know that we're going to do some local pickup stuff as well fairly quickly here, but we wanted to make it so that if somebody went to the page, looking for something, that when they found it, they could immediately like go there and buy it, right? That there was no sort of like delayed gratification. If you're sitting there saying, well, what am I going to have for dinner? You want to be able to pull up a list of restaurants that'll deliver to you. Or if you need to buy a new Hawaiian shirt or Edmonton Oilers hat, you want to be able to find a store where you can just say, I need that new hat, right? And away you go.
Totally.
So we wanted to make sure that it was places that were set up to kind of take orders and do delivery at that time. I think the idea though is that we don't want to stop there, right? We do want to make this sort of bigger and more inclusive, kind of long term. But just to get going, you want to, we kind of were like, let's draw a box around this, and we thought that was the box that we could kind of get something quickly done for.
Yeah. All about convenience. So basically, you're not looking at this as just a COVID thing. You're looking at this, 3 months out, 6 months out. It could become a complete platform for local business in Edmonton.
So long term, what I'd really like to see is for us to be able to kind of solve two problems that I think we have, right? There's kind of this online shopping problem for small business, and then there's like a local delivery problem for small businesses in a restaurant. The online shopping problem is really, how do you connect with your customer base in Edmonton here, right? How do you find how do you find the customers that would normally be coming into your stores and buying things online and engage with them and get them to buy your product? And then do that in a way that when it's Christmas time, right, and everybody's shopping online, you're still able to engage with those same customers, right? And brick and mortar has kind of been under onslaught from online sales for a long time, and I think really one of the paths ahead for these smaller businesses is kind of getting online in a way that, especially busy time of the year, Christmas or what have you, you don't have to physically go into the store. You can just say, okay, I've, bought this pair of shoes here before. I've ordered this product here before, so I can just order it online and it'll show up and I can wrap it and put it underneath the tree, right? Bring sort of that convenience of Amazon or the other product or the other, organizations that we use for shopping to like a local business level. And so kind of obviously then it kind of makes sense outside the context of COVID-19 as well, right? Because you're trying to help local business kind of get online and get an online presence that can then kind of benefit them far beyond when this is going to be over. Right. And the thing that we still haven't really, we don't even profess we're going to try to solve this right now, but I think the kind of the big other problem that somebody has to solve is the local delivery, right? Because when you think about sort of Amazon as like this big multinational company that's sort of sucking the profits out of like online sales, something like Skip the Dishes is doing the same thing in the restaurant space, right? And so if you have kind of like this delivery, and I don't know what the solution is, but I'm optimistic that we can kind of find this made in Alberta solution where we have like a local delivery plan where restaurants or businesses or whatever can share a delivery solution to kind of get their products out there, right? And if you do have sort of a made in Alberta, made in Edmonton solution for a problem like that, you probably can get down to the point of like 1-day delivery, like Amazon professes to do, right?
Yeah,
And
not doing right now.
and is not exactly, and
Yeah.
but in a way that supports local business.
Yeah,
And for this to work, though, for all of this to work, you need the economy of scale, right? You
totally.
basically need a lot of businesses that are interested in doing this, ready to go.
Yeah,
And so like it's easy for us, right? I think we're at 200 and some businesses right now that already have done something and they're online, right? Sort of the next step is, well, you have a business but you're not online, what can we do to
yeah,
help you get online? And that's definitely a problem where you need the economy of scale, right? We're not I myself am not going to be able to go and build Shopify websites for every business in Edmonton.
yeah,
Hopefully government steps in, right? Like it would be nice if like the Edmonton Chamber of Commerce kind of beat up on different levels of governments and said, hey, look, you know uh, we could take 100 more businesses online or 500 more businesses online.
yeah.
um, and that's not just like a COVID-19 impact to the economy, that's like a lasting impact to the economy,
Totally, totally.
make things
It's
better,
almost like
right?
it was trending in that way, but the
Right.
passion behind what COVID has done to our community has just made a passion for local even that much stronger. Do you sense
Yeah.
that? Do you feel that?
Yeah, I think so, right? I think that kind of we are all so busy in our day-to-day lives. Convenience is important, right? And I think we have a little bit more time to pause and think about things. And when you pause and think about things, you're like, I really do like these places, right? Like we have a great community here in Edmonton, a lot of great businesses. And if you think about it, you can get pretty much everything you need here. You don't need to reach out to these other large companies or what have you. And so that just kind of giving us that extra time, because we can't be out, out in the community doing other
Totally.
things. I think
Yeah,
it makes people think about that and say, oh, yeah, we should get dinner at this place tonight, or we should just buy these products here
for
locally in
sure.
Edmonton.
For sure. So, Mark, of the 200 that you have currently online, which is very impressive,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Mm-hmm.
actually been super fun to watch, like,
Mm-hmm.
on the Facebook feed and stuff, so
Sure.
many people jumping out and saying, add this one, add this one. What
Mm-hmm.
types of industries are there? There's obviously the restaurant industry that we all
Yep.
think of,
Yep.
probably firsthand because it
Yep.
has done delivery for a while. And then
Yep.
there's maybe the clothing part. I know I've seen a few go up on that. Are there any industries that we maybe don't think of like originally that would have that type of online and delivery option?
Um, so I think kind of the big things people care about right now is they need food, whether that's
Yeah,
groceries or restaurant delivery or what have you.
yeah,
And then it's kind of clothing, some personal items,
yeah.
right? Uh, so I think that's kind of where we started. I
The
think that
fun.
other businesses have just sort of reached out and been like, well, we do this online too.
Yeah,
And we've just kind of, built out the database really from there.
yeah, yeah.
But I think it kind of starts with sort of the necessities,
Mhm.
right? Like,
Totally.
I leave my house once a week, and if I can get something delivered, I get it delivered, right?
For sure.
So,
For sure.
so
So, like, I'm sure you've had some pretty interesting stories come up from this. Do you have any stories you could share of,
yeah.
neat?
So this is kind of like a which child of yours do you love the most sort of thing, right? It's like I don't,
Sorry, that's a hard question.
well, no, but it's like maybe I could come up with one, but I don't want to share one with you
No, fair enough.
because I
Yeah,
want all these businesses that have
yeah,
provided us with information to be successful. And I don't want to call out one above the other, because it's not fair to say that I love one child more than the rest.
Of
And
course not. No.
I love for all of them to be super successful, right?
Yeah.
And for us to kind of, nothing would make me happier than the result of this pain that we're going through as a society. That one of the things that comes out of this is this sort of renewed sort of renaissance of local business, right?
Totally. So do you foresee that then, Mark, like, as much as none of us have a crystal ball, in, 6 months, 9 months, a year, 5 years down the road, even that sense of community, how do you foresee that changing given, the circumstances we're under today?
Right.
That's
So my hope is that um through government support, because I don't think all the businesses can do it by themselves. Through government support, we end up building something, and not necessarily me, but like as a
Mhm.
community, we end up building something that sort of solves these problems, right? We solve sort of like the local online commerce and the kind of the local delivery problems. And I think that will have lasting changes, right? If you can imagine uh, the things that make people interested in the Amazons and the Skip the Dishes of the world,
Mhm.
if we can solve those problems locally, I don't think that there's this big incentive to use those large companies, right? That are effectively pulling money out of our economy, right?
Yeah.
Which is their profits, right?
Yeah.
And so if I know that I can order, my wife's Christmas present locally, and it shows up the same day, and it's I'm helping a local business, and it's not. I don't think that our local businesses are really not competitively priced, right? I think it's pretty much these days, with how supply chains work, it's the same price for everything everywhere, right? So, it's just you support local, and then that money stays local, and everybody does better. So,
Yeah.
if we can get these problems solved as part of this, right? If
Yeah.
people can kind of get the economy of scale going, right? Band together and figure these things out, I
Yeah.
think this will last for a long time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And there's going to be, there's going to be businesses that probably wouldn't be in business 2 years from now without a solution to problems like this, maybe get saved because they're able to figure out a way to kind of take what they've been doing in brick and mortar and bring it online.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it actually gets me really excited because it's so much easier to have passion for your local community than it is for,
Yeah,
the big box stores you see online. So that's great.
exactly.
What is there anything you want to share with everybody? Like, how can we help basically?
Right.
What would be your first recommendation?
So what would be awesome is if you know a business that should be listed or that needs help, have them reach out to us,
Right.
right, via Twitter or Facebook,
Yeah.
and we'll do what we can to help them out. I think that's the
Yeah.
starting point. Let's get people listed who aren't on the site already,
Yeah.
and then as we sort of kind of make contact with these different businesses, the next thing is, how are they doing delivery,
Mhm.
and can their delivery solution scale to other people, or do they have ideas on doing some sort of local delivery solution? Because really that's the next challenge,
Yeah.
right? There's
Yeah.
500 more places that should be on this website
Yeah.
that just need help with that last mile delivery thing.
Yeah.
And so if we can start getting people thinking about, could their solution scale, or how can they help be part of that solution, I think that's sort of the next thing, right? So today it's like, let's make sure talk to the places that you shop at, make sure that they get themselves on here, and then tomorrow it's like, and now we got to start thinking about how we can do this local delivery.
Yeah, and actually execute it. And I'm sure, like you said, there's synergies. There's going to be synergies involved
Yes.
as the more people get on board. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. Okay, so for everybody, your website is www.shopyeg, and then we have Twitter at shop_yeg, and reach out via Facebook and Twitter. And yeah, let's support local business. This is exciting. Thanks a lot, Mark, for all you guys are doing to foster this in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
It's been impressive to
Yeah.
see action.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's just, like, this is really difficult for everybody, right? And I can't imagine I can't imagine, the stress of, especially certain businesses where it's just like they're totally shut down, right? And so if we can help get them back up and running, get them back up and selling things, and then we do this in a way that it's going to help the community for years to come, right? Like
Um,
that's just fantastic. We've taken
absolutely.
a disaster and we've turned it into something that's going to help us out all
Come out
long
of it
term. So
with momentum. Oh, absolutely. I love it. Well, thanks again, Mark. Appreciate your time.
you bet. Take
Thanks
care.
for all you're doing for Edmonton.
You bet. Cheers.
Okay, take care.